Hey, welcome to episode 1 of We Don't Know What to Call This Yet. I'm your host. I'm still deciding.
And I'm maybe but not yet. This is so stupid. This is so dumb.
Look, hey, we're here to spit the truth. Because
spit. I don't want to spit on the microphone, man.
That's why we have it. Why do you think I put this sock over it? So
you can spit on it. Just so you can spit on this. What else do I buy this microphone so I can spit all over
Y'all
it?
caught us in a real goofy mood. We had some serious topics that we're going to go over before this, but then
spit on the sock.
That happened. So we're just going to wing it because honestly, we're going to just learn as we go. All so right. You got some topics?
I have a topic and I want to talk about the difference between right and wrong and good and evil. So like when I think of right and wrong, I think of the moral compass of right and wrong. When I think of good and evil, I think of what a personal person thinks is, good and what a personal person thinks is evil. And I think the normalization of good and evil kind of overtaking what's good is a very normal kind of, take today with, Doja Cat and all that other
Doja Cat.
All that other devilish concepts being put out in the open, but people are so desensitized to it that it's almost normal at this point. So just kind of like something like that,
Hey man, I appreciate the mood change. I needed that. So yeah, there's so many distractions in this world. There's only one path to take. I just see it as black and white at this point. I used to be confused and I used to think I could just I'm getting an important call. Hey, y'all, we're not doing no phones here, y'all.
You don't got to tell them that.
I'm going to just say what I want. Look, phones are the biggest distraction in this world right now. Everything and anything is easy access at any time. And we're so just... I'm lacking words. I want to say brainwashed, but I don't think that's correct. Like, we're so habituated with these phones and just...
big word, big man, big word.
Like, you need anything at any time, it's on these phones. And that's why people are... It's actually hurting more than it's helping because we already had all the information we needed. But now... in a world full of distractions, we are even more distracted because the things that are popular are not the truth. Listen, we have had the truth for over 2,000 years in the form of a book, right? The Bible. But now with phones and the already known concept that people who preach this stuff will not be popular, will lose their money, will be shunned by others, and tie that in with an algorithm. And I think of it as a collective algorithm that all platforms, all social medias use, where they only promote popular things. With that algorithm, it's impossible, nearly impossible, I'd say, at least for me, what the information I look up, the truth, for the truth to come out and manifest in people's hearts, because they're going to get these phones and the only thing that the information is going to be fed to them, the only information that will be fed to them is going to be a bunch of distractions from what's actually important. And that's why phones need to be put away. You do what you want. You can say whatever you want, but at least for me, I've reduced my time on my phone significantly since I deleted TikTok back in 2018. And ever since then, I rarely have any screen time on this thing. Like, I literally just call people on my phone, which is, what they're at first used for, which is kind of crazy to think about how I just reverted back in time with this thing. I have all this access, and yet I only use it to call people or text at this point. So I just wanted to put that out there. What do you think?
I mean, for me, like, as much as I'm focused on the Lord, I'm focused on the psychology as well of it, because for me, I want to understand like why people would rather choose to not do things that,
Makes sense.
that makes sense, right? But also it's the fact of the human brain likes patterns. And if the pattern is popular, then a lot of people will do it. This is a great example of hedonism. And I think that's what's taking over
what's that word mean?
Our general population today. Hedonism is this pure strive for personal pleasure, no matter what, no matter who you hurt or no matter if you hurt yourself. And I think hedonism is the biggest problem in the world today, because no one cares about anyone else's feelings or anything sort of like that. It's more of what do I want and what do I get, and how much.
The age of vanity.
Yeah, how much purpose is this going to bring me? And I think that is referenced in a lot of things. And I'm not saying there's not a lot wrong with hedonism at its base philosophical reference, but I think we've taken it to an extreme where it's like, I don't care who I hurt. At the end of the day, it's about me. And like, for me, I take way more pride in helping other people than helping myself. Like, I've never been the type of person to just sit there, oh, I'm going to help myself now. It's more of like, once I feel like I've helped you, then I feel like I should receive that same kind of help. But
it's called respect.
Yeah, but no one really wants to do that nowadays. It's more of, well, you helped me, and I don't really owe you anything.
It's more of, I'm just rude because that's my personality.
Right. The personality thing, I feel like that's also gone too far. But all this just kind of is the umbrella of hedonism, and that's just what it is. I mean, people just want to do what they want to do. And one thing I found interesting in a recent video I just watched was the devil talks about being free. And freedom is what the devil uses to kind of put people in corners and say, you can have all of this. You can be what you want, do what you want, no matter what. You'll get everything you want.
You can have all the nations.
You can have
Luke 4:9, y'all.
You can have everything you want, but at the end of the day, you'll still be dissatisfied.
You gotta no. Let me tell you something. Depending on the person you are, and I'm gonna say this in the perspective of me. Money absolutely buys happiness. Anyone who tells you that is lying to themselves. Let me tell you something. You can sell your soul for fame, for money, all this. Dedicate your entire life. You don't have to, consciously make a deal with the devil to sell your soul. You can just dedicate your life to something. And this is what people need to understand. You can just do that, and that counts as selling your soul, selling your time on earth to whatever you're doing. And if it's just for fame and money, you are selling your soul for those things, for nations to bow down to you. And you will get it, and those kind of people will not have the purpose that other people who know the bigger picture will have, but you got to live it up. You got no time. Because there is eternity and then 80 years. You choose when you want to be rich. I'm just saying, all right?
I mean, I definitely totally agree. But I think for me, like, I never thought of, like, working towards one thing in your whole entire life is necessarily a bad thing. I think for me, like, I want to work towards just being a good person and being someone that people can rely on. And that's, like, my main goal. But, like, my life's work is to make people like smile. That's what I want to do with my life, whatever that is, whatever that entails. Like, I feel like there are certain jobs out there, like therapists and stuff like that out there that is good life's work, not just because the fact of, yes, they are dedicating their life to it, but they're also helping other people either find a way to better themselves and to help a human population that is internally struggling very much now. Like, I think that's one of the best things about being a human is we get to decide whether how much we help people and how much we put them in a place to succeed. Like, when I first met like you, I was like, yo, this guy is like kind of crazy listening to all this kind of rap stuff. But like now I see like the huge change where it's just
you did
like,
it too.
yeah, like here's the change is impeccable. Like it's good to see because you're able to help.
It's between life and death,
yeah,
dude.
but you're able to help somebody out in a way where they can kind of, you know, put them in a position to be better than where they started at. And I think the one thing for me is I love looking at where people started and praising them for their progress, not because the journey's over, but the journey started.
Yeah, like, and back to the soul thing, you should have a job. You should, have some sort of hobby to make yourself mentally stable, obviously. But like, when it comes down to it, above all things else, what should be paying the most rent in your mind, which means whatever takes up the most thoughts in your mind, should be the Bible, pretty much. Because like, that will bring you the most joy. You can't get joy from anything else in this world. I'm gonna just lay it out for you. Like, it's so enlightening to be able, like, I'm so just blown away by how better my life and my soul has gotten ever since I became I'm born again or whatever. Like, let me tell you something. You can't get joy from anything else. You may feel happy for a brief moment, but there is nothing like this spiritual enlightenment. Nothing else can do this for you. Like, that is my version of making people smile, is bringing them the truth. Because why wouldn't you want to tell people the truth after you discovered it? That's what I want to do. That's why we're doing this podcast. Is the only thought I have is just bring people closer to God, make them open their Bibles. That's it. Like, because this is a whole other emotion y'all don't get from any other religion, any other practice out there. There was just one path on earth and one right path only. Like, because once you become a Christian, there's 4 routes you take. You can either just party, claim you're a Christian, still be out here drinking, smoking, giving yourself up to addiction, not following in the footsteps of Christ. You acknowledge that by doing that, you acknowledge the footsteps God has laid out for you are correct, but you just don't walk in them. You instead take your own path through life. And that is just one of the ways. The other ways is you do what I'm doing, and then you see, oh wait, I'm not financially stable anymore. Oh, I gotta lay low, which is the wrong way of thinking, because it clearly states in Matthew, if God the Father feeds birds, what makes you think you're less important than them and you won't be fed either, especially if you're preaching the gospel? I'm not saying I'm a preacher. I'm like, this just goes for anybody, pretty much. Just speaking the truth. Like, and it's so strange how the truth is like a double-edged sword. That's straight from No Malice when he says that on Smoke and Mirrors. But like, it's true. It's really a double-edged sword, because I am trying to help you. I'm trying to give you what your soul needs, and then in return, negative things happen to me. But because of how confident I am in this supernatural testament, I am enduring through all of it. That is the power of all that stuff. And I just want to lay it out. I know I'm ranting here. I need to give you some time. So,
yeah, I mean, like I said, I agree with everything you just said, but like I'm just saying, from a personal perspective, like, I've never really like taken the time to like think like so deeply about it. Like, oh, I need to do all this extra stuff. And it's like, for me, it's like, I'm going to do what I can to
what you
put
mean?
People in position to find Jesus. But I think there's more testimony to finding Jesus by yourself than someone trying to put in your faith, because at the end of the day, they're not going to be there when you're sleeping, and if they're not going to be there when you open your Bible, all you can do is say something about it. And for me, like, I want to say, if you just get your life on track, take this scripture, take this word of advice, use it, and see where you're at. Really honor it, really try it, and give God a try. You try it, and if it doesn't work, I can't do anything, because that's God. God is in your life. I'm not in your soul. God is in your soul. My position is, I'm going to do everything I can to bring your life into the knowledge of God, but it is up to you to pursue it. I cannot, throw the Bible in your face, tell you to read this, read that. This is what it is. This is what it has to be. You have to find that out for yourself. The same way, like, you're feeling right now is like all this enlightenment is because you found it by yourself. No one put you on that path.
No, that's wrong.
But people put you on that path, wrong. But people didn't. They didn't sit there and be like, oh.
No, they spoke to me.
Walk you through God. But who sent those people?
God did.
God did. So he's putting you. He will give you the tools to get there, but it's up to you.
He's putting you in other people's lives too.
But it's up to you to pursue it. The same way you're doing this.
You need to lead the horse to water. They may not drink it, but you need to lead them to water. You can't just be like, oh, you're showing pushback. No, I can't do this. No, like, you need to be like straightforward and show them how good your life has changed, and tell them the truth. Because this wisdom, like, if a human said this, then they listen to it. If God said this, if Jesus said this, if it's in the Bible, they'd be like, nah. You gotta, like, show them why this is the right way to do it. You can't just, I don't know. I just feel like you need to at least put some effort into it, like what happened with me. Because, like, you can't be out here just like, you love Jesus? No, you should. Okay, bye. Like, I feel
I completely get that, and that's not what I was saying was.
Oh, okay,
like,
okay.
What I was saying was, like, for me personally, like, I'm not gonna sit there and try to put you on this, like, this straight, like, narrow path, because I don't know what path God has for you. What I do know is I know God, and I believe you should get to know him, and I will do everything in my power to, like, put you on a path to see you succeed. But I never want to force anyone down a path. I never want to sit there and tell you what you
just let it and go with the flow. Don't force nothing. It's the way.
The flow is the flow. But for me, it's like, I'm very pathological in trying to understand, like, okay, I don't want to push this person. I don't want to say, do this, and this will happen, because at the end of the day, I don't know.
No, everyone's different.
Everyone's different,
and
right?
Some people have hardened hearts.
For me, like, I don't want to, hurt anyone's, like, pride or ego, because that's not what I'm here to do. What I'm here to do is the human brain likes patterns. It really likes patterns, and it likes what is considered normal, because it is easy to do. That's why Christianity is so hard, because it's not the normal. That's why people struggle to complete things, is because it's not normal to be a Christian. It was easy to be a Christian to be earlier, because it was the normal. Everyone was Christian. So if you weren't Christian, there were people to be like, hey, that's not Christian. Don't do that. Now it's, if you're a Christian, well, you're kind of an outlier. And I think that for me, it's like, I don't want to be one of those people like, no, you're wrong, do this. It's like, hey, if you're going to claim to be a Christian, read your Bible. And make sure.
Faith is worthless without works.
Right. But just like I was saying, actions mean more than words. And my responsibility is to not be God to you. My responsibility is to tell you about God, and it's my responsibility is to say, you know what, hey, what you're doing right now is not Christian. You claim to be a Christian, but you're not doing Christian things. Now, I can only tell you what you're doing wrong, but I'm not the one making those actions. So at the end of the day, you make the action, you do what you have to. All I can say is open your Bible and ask for forgiveness.
And then this next one is one of the four paths that he just said. People claim to be a Christian, and then you show them the word, and then they want to understand it, and Satan will steal their heart. Those are the people, and I know by name these people I say this stuff to, they say they're Christian and they're like, oh no, I'm not with it. No, like, what are you doing? Either you're in it or you're not. And I feel like with Jesus, I had awful trust issues. You know that well. I don't trust nothing. But when it comes to Christ, I put my 100% into it, and the turnover was like 1,000%. Like, I'm just saying, I'm so passionate about it. You tell me anything, I just want to hear about Jesus. I don't want to hear about nothing on TikTok or anything anymore. Like, that's how powerful this feeling is, and it won't go away. I'm gonna endure. Like listen, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, I completely agree. I mean, I think for me, it's like I really haven't hit that like enlightenment phase that you're in, but I think for me,
oh, it's
like,
not a phase.
Not phase, but like the path God has called you on. Like for me, I feel like the path God has called me on is to be that person who's like, who doesn't seem like the ultra Christian type, but it's more of the type of like, he knows his Bible, he knows that God is real, and he also knows people, which I think is a very important piece to like for people to know God. Like you're not that kind of person where you're like, oh, I can read this person, but you're very intellectual about the Bible. You could explain to someone the Bible. I can't really explain to someone intricacies of the Bible, but what I can do is I could read people, and I've been blessed to be able to be like, hey, I know what this person is feeling right now. When I tell them, I'm able to watch body language, body movements, anything of that kind of nature, and where I can say I can get my overall message to them without really causing any minor hiccups or making them feel uncomfortable. Because I think a lot of people now, it's like it's not easy to just go over to someone who's never known anything about Christianity and just tell them about it, and they'll just convert.
No, you need to tell them about sinner's redemption. You start off with the basics, man.
But see, that's for people like that. Like for people nowadays, it's scary because you're coming in with all this sinner's redemption, sinners and this, sinners that.
Listen,
but
everyone got demons in
I'm
them.
just telling you the perspective. Everything is perspective, and if you want people to understand what you're trying to say, you have to put it in a way they can understand.
Absolutely.
I cannot, like, especially when like people try to talk to me about God one-on-one. I get very like uncomfortable because it's like, hey, you're giving me all this, but you're not putting it in a way where I can kind of take it in. I need to be able to hear what you're saying and take it in on a personal level.
You also,
I can't. It's not on me trying to reject what you're saying. It's me trying to understand it in a way I can understand. That's where I feel like my gift for being able to read people and kind of put it in a way where they can understand is like my way of giving out Christianity.
dude, look, everyone got demons in them, and when people speak the Bible to you, your demons are gonna listen to that and be like, "No, turn away, nah."
But
you don't listen.
But it's the thing of like you can put it in a way where they can get it without trying to be so forceful.
Not everyone is for everybody. Look,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So what you're trying to describe is you may not touch this person because you just simply don't get along with them, just on a social aspect.
It's not
you need to find someone for you. That's why this world is so crazy, because people just get put into your life, and it's not
getting along. It's more of you don't have to get along with the person.
No. I'm saying the personalities. Like you may not.
It's not about personality.
Well, I'm trying to defend you. What you're saying?
It's not about. I'm not saying you're not. I'm just saying it's not about the personality. It's about being able to make it digestible for anyone, and that's why preachers are a thing.
Impossible.
It is. It's not. It's not impossible.
There's people with hardened hearts. Jesus didn't preach to everybody.
Jesus broke many hardened hearts.
He didn't.
He's broken many hardened hearts.
No, not hardened hearts. It literally says
hard hearts, like people who would say, "Nope, not gonna believe."
He can make people do 180s.
He can exactly,
but there's people, and it says it in the book of John, with hardened hearts, and Jesus cannot touch them because they're just not open to the Bible. He doesn't preach to everybody.
He doesn't preach to everybody, but he only preaches to everybody.
He only preaches to people who want to know.
But the word is also spread, and I think the main thing for me is like, even with those hard hearts, I don't think I could do what Jesus can do, by the strength of the imagination. But I do think like I can.
It's about being Christ-like.
I can at least even with those hard hearts, I could put the Bible out there. no matter what. And I can make it digestible for
Oh, yeah,
anyone.
you
And
can put it out there.
That's my number one
You just
goal.
can't
It's
make the horse drink water.
It's not about the horse drinking water. It's about the horse knowing there's water.
Then that's just telling them about the Bible.
Yeah, but the horse knows there's water, and you showed them the path.
Now it's on them.
That's my point. My point is it's on them.
Yeah.
I've showed them the water.
There's not much you can do mentally.
I can't tell them to wake up in the morning and read the Bible, and I'll know
you can't possess them.
I can't. Yeah, but what I can do is I can show them the path.
Make them acknowledge it.
Show them the water, and that's it. It's not about they have hard hearts and I can't preach to them. It's about, hey, I've done.
Well, yeah, you got to try at least.
That's what I feel like I can do is make it digestible for anyone.
Yeah, that's cool. But now that I think, would you like to conclude this topic? First topic of the night, nailed it. Anything you want to go over?
I'm ready for the next topic. I think if you have any ideas, I have a good idea. We didn't really flesh out.
We're not planning this. I don't know what to call this.
I want to flesh out my psychology idea.
Flesh it out. Go ahead. The stage is yours.
Oh, but I already said it. But it's like we went on this Christian topic, and I was like, well, let's just flesh out your full idea.
My full idea?
You're full Christian because you were you're bringing this into the scopes of Christianity. And I wanted to bring it into the scopes of earth.
There is a bigger picture out there with everything. And this is where my mind turned to this idea. Look, there's earth and then there's the spiritual realm. All mammals have the spiritual drug in them called DMT. We have a small amount of it in our head. I believe, this is my personal human opinion, that it is what makes dreams happen. And that's just my opinion. There's no science to back me up. But we are on this earth full of distractions, like I said, and every single thing is turning us away from the truth because this is the fallen angel's world. He has been dropped here, and we are being tested every single day by the higher beings. And once you understand that there's only one true way to salvation, you will still live for the world like how many, many, many people are doing it. And the evidence is very clear. Once you change your perspective, change your worldview to be more Christ-like, there are over... okay, I'm going to look this up. How many denominations are in Muslim religion? Two Islamic denominations. All right. Now let's look up Christianity. How many denominations are in Christianity? Over 45,000 denominations in this one religion. There is so much confusion in this world. And notice how, okay, I'm going to look up Jewish religion. Four main branches in Jewish religion. I'm looking all this up. That should tell you where Satan strikes the hardest. He is trying to divide and conquer. He is trying to divide and conquer the truth. Just think about that. It's so obvious once you see all these patterns that is so many for one religion. And you have to think to yourself, because like what you said, people love patterns. Where is all this coming from? Why is there so much confusion in the Christian religion and everything else seems straightforward? Because those are all deceptions from what is right. And what is right is the one and only minor little path in this world. And look, you may say you're Christian, but it's the works that you do that really push it. So you're going to have a resume attached to your soul, and when you die, it's visualized, symbolized in the form of a conversation between you and God on if we're going to heaven or hell, and we need to see your work on earth. And that's why I'm like a born again Christian now, because all these patterns I've been seeing just link back to whatever the Bible's saying. He literally, look, paleontology, for example, wasn't discovered or wasn't established, I should say, until 1850s or higher, somewhere there. The Bible came out about 1850 years before that point. Paleontology was discovered. In that time, in the book of Job, chapter 40, chapter 40, let's stick with that. Job chapter 40. God literally describes a sauropod dinosaur 1850 years before paleontology was established. That is just one minor piece of evidence that backs up, and he describes it in detail too. No other religious text describes dinosaurs. Look, like, that alone for me just reminds me that this is real. Like, Christianity is real, and it is being attacked every day. For the world is withering away. You look at news and you think, this news is a lot worse than yesterday's news. Well, yeah, because it is. The world is just getting punished. Like, absolutely just turning darker each and every day. And that's why it's so important to only focus on God, because he is the only positive light in this darkness.
You went off there, man. Yeah, I definitely agree. I think, with everything that's been said, I think the one main message that you should get with this is, the one main message you should get is, just find your God, and there's only one.
Find God.
Find your way to him. I mean, everyone's path is going to be different.
Find Jesus,
and no one else can walk that path but you. As many hands that will stick out and that may help you along, it is up to you to put each step forward. And that's my approach to everything. I don't want to, I want you to start it and I want you to finish it. I can only push you so far. I can only help you get to where you need to go. But I can't walk across that finish line for you. And I think the pattern thing, I think that's beyond this world. That's even in Christianity. God has his ways, and you know what those ways are because they're listed in the Bible. You know what to follow. You know what to do, what not to do. But and that's a pattern you should follow, and it'll be easier the more you do it. But the problem is it's hard to start, and I think that's the thing that kills us nowadays. Is it's hard to start things, and it's hard to be consistent with things. It's hard to finish things that you really want to do. Like, a good example of this is New Year, new me. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go do this. How many people don't do that? It's not because they don't want to. It's because they don't know what consistency is. They lose sight of what it is they actually really need to do. Because it's not a pattern enough. They don't see it every day. It's easy.
They're not dedicated.
It's not dedication.
It is.
It's easy to do something when everyone else is doing it. It's hard to do something when no one else is doing it. I want to go to the gym. I want to get stronger, but I have no one else to go with it. That's why you always see gym buddies. You go to the gym every single day because it's easier to do it when there's someone with you. It's harder to do it when it feels like you're by yourself. That's the problem with Christianity nowadays, is because even in the church that we go to, I feel a real sense of individuality with it because it's always you guys, everyone in here is one big family, but it's more like,
no,
it's really not, because
it's too big.
It's too big to be a family, you know. And I think the thing is, for me, it's like I can sit there and, you know, follow this pattern of Christianity, and I'll lose the things I'll care about the most. Maybe, you know, you never know. Maybe you'll gain. You'll gain more than you lose when you follow Christianity.
Definitely.
Always, you always gain more than you lose.
Would you rather choose life or death?
But it's simple to some people like you. It's simple.
Oh no, simple. It was not simple.
But it's you boiled it down to simplicity. Now that you understood it, right?
Yeah, it all makes sense now. It just clicks.
It all makes sense, right? But how many people I've tried to describe so many things to people, but it's never clicked. And I've taken notes. I studied a lot on like, okay, what makes people click? What makes me click is when it becomes personal. When it comes to personal to me, when it becomes something internally that I've like had a lot of questions about, and all of them are answered at once. And that's when something clicks for me. Now, it's different for other people because it's like, hey, you have to do it in front of me so I can learn it. You have to show me what being a Christian is like so I can learn it. That's another way. That's another way I learn. Like when you're in a classroom, everyone has a different way of learning, and you cannot expect by just simply stating what the Bible is, who God is, to fully reach somebody like you said. I truly believe that, you know, at the end of the day, you are your only person with concerning God and the Holy Spirit and all that. But at the end of the day, you are the only person who can walk the path of God that God has called you to walk. You're the only one who can walk that certain path. No one else can sit on there and get on with you and ride it all the way through. It's you because it's only yours.
Yep, you're going to be there alone.
So when God puts people in front of your way, my main goal is to, well, God puts people in front of my way. My main goal is to if they're not already on the path, put them in a position to start the path. And even if they're not anywhere near the path, like I've had a lot of friends who claim to be Christian, but they smoked and did all this other stuff. And I was like, I was real with them. I was very honest with them. I was like, hey, what you're doing is dumb. Don't do that. Try this. But it was never a fact of, demonization of what they were doing. It was more of Christianizing what they were doing and Christianizing their actions. And
you mean crucifying?
No, Christianizing it. Like,
you need to cut off ties. You may not sever physically, but you need to sever mentally.
I think you need to sever both.
Physically?
Both your actions. Your physical actions, both your mental things. And then you need to be able to Christianize what you're doing, make it more Christian-like. And that's my main point.
Christ-like, not Christian-like, Christ-like.
Christ-like.
Because we know Christians nowadays.
Yeah.
The American Christians at the bars. Yeah, I'm Christian.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think everyone has their own path to it. And I don't want to be that one person who wants to throw it all down your throat and hope you understand once I leave. It's more of, I'm going to watch what you do. I'm going to be observant just as God is observant. And try to be as...
Satan's observant.
Yeah.
God does.
God's very observant. Satan's very observant. And I think that's two things. I mean, just like God has both sides. He can, and as in the Old Testament, he showed a lot of mercy for people, but he was very strict in what he did. And I think that was his side of, I am God, and you can't just love God. You have to fear God. You can't have one or the other.
It comes with it.
You have to fear God, and that's one of the most important parts. People, I love God, but they don't fear him. There's no fear in it. They fear and that's the great thing now. They don't fear Satan. They think Satan is a character. There's costumes.
Yeah,
all this stuff.
They don't believe him.
They don't. But I know many people have seen this one video. It's like the greatest thing Satan ever did was convincing people he didn't exist.
Oh man,
and that is the greatest thing.
Biggest deception.
Biggest deception, because if someone can convince you it doesn't exist, it's all on you to figure out if he does or not. And that's the scary thing, because humans don't like being alone. Humans are built for connection. They are clearly built to have
Hardwired.
human interaction. But if many, many humans think it's normal to not believe in God and normal not to believe in that the devil exists, then not a lot of humans will follow. And that's when you get mobs of people saying Christianity's dumb and this and that and that. Because at the end of the day, it's not normal to them. It's an outlier. And that's where I bring my compassion in. It's where it's like, I understand it's not a normal thing for you. And I'm not here to shove it all down your throat. I'm here to show you that it's normal for us. That is, you see all these people in this church. It's normal. It's constituted as normal when you're within these walls of a church. That's the reason to go to church is not to learn about the scripture, but it's to normalize going to church. You read the scripture by yourself. You learn about the Bible by yourself. That's why they're so widespread. There's nothing greater than buying a Bible because you're supporting the Word of God. The point of going to church is to realize that it's not just you in this path of walking to God.
But I will say pastors help, though. I'm not even going to lie. If you find an entertaining pastor who talks the truth, man, that is awesome. There's this one guy on YouTube. Okay, y'all probably know him. He's a big guy, but like his name is Wendigoon, and now he makes like what's it called? Agnostic, like Bigfoot videos or whatever. But he used to be a Sunday school teacher, and he used to make these 30, 40-minute long Bible lessons where all he does is just read the Bible and just talk about how cool it is. And that made me like really enjoy that stuff. I was like, whoa, he actually makes it fun. Like, this is cool stuff. But that's just me. Y'all can check out his older stuff. But like that, like that's all I wanted to say. Like, if you find a good pastor, that's awesome.
I mean, I totally agree. I think everyone's got their own little, own little kink to it, own little kind of way of going about things. And I think that's the beauty of Christianity, because in a lot of other religions, it's just clear cut, do this, do that. And God's like, everyone has their own path. And you can't just sit
Everyone
there.
has a purpose.
Everyone has a purpose.
Not every soul is for heaven. You know that, right? Like,
right. But I think every soul can be.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That'd be cool if everyone makes it on the ark.
But that's my point, is everyone can be. It's not to limit yourself. A lot of the stuff when you're reading the Bible, it can feel like, well, maybe it's not for me. And I think that's where the people kind of get so scared and tense in doing it, because, well, maybe it's not for me. And in a world where everyone's like, get in and get out, do things temporarily. Temporary is the best form of living now, because if it's temporary, then it's best because you're not committing to anything. And commitment is now scary nowadays.
Except if it's YouTube.
No, yeah, except
it's streaming.
Yeah, but I mean, we're committed to do this podcast now, but we're doing it in a way where it's Christian like, and it's
works of God, man.
It's works of God.
I'm trying to bring people to Him. Like, this is real. This is like real stuff.
Yeah, but it's at the end of the day, like, you have to reach an audience. And like,
not us. No, we're not gonna reach an audience. I'll be honest.
It's not the point. The point is if this was, just to flesh out ideas, then that's cool. But for me, like, I want to be the person who's like, okay, this guy's not here to ridicule me or say, yeah, this is it. This is this and this and that. That's it. But the point is, I know that if you find God, I don't need to tell you that. I don't need to tell you that this is what it is, and this is how it is, and this is what it's going to be.
And we're the tolerant religion, too. Yeah. We're supposed to be tolerant.
All I'm going to do is say, here you go. This is what I believe in. This is what I believe you should believe in. But you have to walk the path. And once again, I can't control that. And I think, like, we both have different ways of going about that, right?
Hey, if they want to hear me talk, because I usually either talk about God, science, or, I don't know, some nerdy stuff like video games or a regular show. Like, I'm a really nerdy guy. But, like, if my thing is, is people who gravitate towards my style. Like, if you constantly come up to me because you like what I talk about, then that's a good sign, you know?
Right.
And if all I talk about are those 3, 4 things, then it's a good sign. And obviously, I talk about God more now, but I talk about him more because he is what's most important. He's who pays the most rent in my brain. And that's what I feel is most valuable, because all my questions through life, dating, um, dude, what other questions do I have in my life? I don't remember. Like, literally, all my worries just went away when I started reading the Bible and taking it seriously. First Corinthians chapter 7, you don't even have to be like a Jesus freak to read First Corinthians chapter 7. I'm gonna say this right now. This could be like a human wrote half of First Corinthians chapter 7, and it all it talks about is advice on dating and marriage. And that whole chapter, it sounds like, oh, it's long, it's a chapter. No, dude, you're gonna read it and be like, wow, this is some real stuff no one has ever told me before. Basically, the thing that I gravitate to most in it, because I was all stressing, man, I gotta get a wife and all this, but I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know all this stuff. I was worrying, you know, and then I read it, and it's like, if you're not dating, then don't force anything. Don't try to go out of your way to date. If you are dating, stay that way and marry her. Like, it sounds, you know, like what other people say, but it's worded differently where I oversimplified it. But when you read it, it's a bunch of complex thoughts, abstract ideas that are packaged up in a single, like, either verse, or because there's multiple verses in there with multiple abstract ideas. It's a whole chapter that goes over everything you need to know about dating and marrying. It is so cool. And you don't have to be necessarily a Christian to agree with it. You just have to read it, and then you'd be like, yes, this absolutely makes sense. I'm not, you could say you're not a Christian, but then you read that and you're like, wow, this is actually like really good stuff. I don't have to like Jesus to do this, but I obviously recommend you do. It's just good information, and the Bible is full of that. Like, that's what's just so cool about it. It's more than just Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. It's like, obviously a lot of it has to do with him, but it's just good information. And that's why I'm so happy now, because all my worries are just gone. It's just a straight path towards victory. And I wake up every day with a purpose. I am never like off the clock, so to say. Like, I always have things I want to do because of God's strength.
Right. I mean, I think for me, like, when I think about like dating and marriage, as you said, like, the Bible is full of good information, but like, I think to reach more people, it's you have to put it in a way where they can obviously digest it. But dating and marriage is such a sensitive topic, and like, there's this movement of marriage is useless. And I think that's completely wrong, because I think marriage in God's way is bringing two Christians together to create more Christians through your kids and bring Christianity throughout. That's why I want to have kids. It's like, not because of like, just so I can, have my own name, but it's more of like, I want to bring Christianity out through my kids, because they're represent Jesus, and they represent me. And I want them to pursue the same things I'm pursuing. And that's why I'm so dead set on like getting married and finding someone, because it's not about, the sex or the money or any of that stuff. It's all about,
what's most important, higher power.
Putting your faith where your mouth is. And putting
everything aside and picking your cross up,
putting everything into those children, putting that Christianity in them, where they can pick up where you left off and finding Jesus and that kind of thing. And that's what I really like appreciate about like having kids, is because you have the ability to mold them and shape them into something that God would love. And I think that's the best part, because you don't have to sit there and be like, oh, well, I'll let my kids be whatever they want. You have a blueprint. Parenting isn't hard if you have that blueprint.
Nothing's hard with the blueprint.
You know what you have to do. You know where you have to stand, and you know where you need to put your faith at. It's not hard at that point, but it gets hard when you stray away from that and you're so focused on
human philosophy.
I think human philosophy is a great way to approach Christianity.
I don't think so.
Personally, I think Aristotle had a really good piece where Plato had a really good piece where he's like, the pursuit of knowledge is the only way to have a good moral compass, and that pursuit of knowledge rests in the Bible.
That's good.
And I think that's where, if you really try to find really good human philosophy, it can benefit you in finding the way through the Bible. And I think that's where I'm navigating it myself. Now, I read a lot of Plato, read a lot of Aristotle, not because I believe in Greek mythology, but because I believe in Christianity. But what they're saying is also a good way to find that through the Bible. It's my sort of medium to, when I read that, this helps me understand the Bible, because it's hard to understand when you're not living it, when you're not seeing it. It's easier to understand when you see, okay, this moral concept is in the Bible, and the Bible predates it. So, and I believe in the moral concept. And so if I believe in this moral concept and it's in the Bible, then it must be true, right? And it's not to say that Aristotle and Plato are, they're this, medium of God, and they're, all this, but, but they have moral concepts that the Bible predates. And I find really interesting, because I can read that and then go read the Bible and feel like, okay, I can make sense of this, because like I said, Plato does say the pursuit of knowledge is a good way to find your moral compass, and that pursuit of knowledge is within the Bible.
But doesn't that piece you just referenced turn you to a higher philosophy?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
That's human philosophy inspired by holy philosophy. And what I'm saying is humans are flawed, and you cannot just, they're not perfect. So why would you trust them when you already have God in a book? Like, it is a supernatural book that is written by higher beings, and it is just all laid out for you. Why would you want to? I remember, look, I'm sorry, this is so off topic. One time I got recommended on my YouTube feed this short of 21 Savage saying why he doesn't cheat. And I remember thinking, trying to think about why this is wrong. And obviously cheating is bad, but it's the context of it being 21 Savage. And the thing is that people look up to him, and he's all full of sin. And then he says cheating is bad, and it's like a revelation. Whoa, 21 Savage said it's bad. That means I can't be doing it. That blows my mind, because this knowledge has been here for 2023 years. And you're over here wait, 21 Savage said we can't cheat. We shouldn't cheat. Oh my gosh. And that's what I'm saying. Human philosophy is just flawed. Obviously, cheating is bad. But you took this long to realize that is wrong, and then you post it as a clip, as a short on YouTube, because of how enlightened you are from this man full of sin telling you one good piece of advice. Mind-blowing. And I may have, I'm not the best explainer. I'm still learning. But I just want you to think about it. Why are people following this guy who just said something so basic and it gets 20 million views? I'm making a mind-blowing hand gesture right now, my head is exploding at just how unbelievable this concept of trusting in humans is, again, comes back to my trust issue.
That's the thing of like human interaction is the main, is intertwined through all humans. And I think this stage we're at does a really good job of exploiting that. And if everyone else likes something, then it's going to be the main thing. And I think we've moved on from Christianity where I'm in the classroom and we get on the topic of Christianity and AP English.
This is not a God-fearing country.
It's almost pathetic because you have people in there who are like, "Oh, I'm Christian," and I see all this stuff and they go smoke. And I think I could testify like I've changed a whole lot. Like I used to listen to the worst music. And I think this will be another topic for another time. But like for me,
let's talk about it right now.
I mean, well, I guess we can always cut this into 2 episodes. This is pretty nice. So I think we could segue into
2-hour podcast.
2-hour podcast. I think we can always
3-hour podcast.
I think we can always segue this into
4-hour podcast.
I think we can always segue this into
10-hour podcast.
We can always segue this into music. And
we're segueing
the music industry now. As you know, Bradley, my take on it is anything that isn't deep or isn't rectifying like your soul is a problem, because at the end of the day, music has always been a medium to the soul. It's always been a connection to the soul for thousands of years.
No, all of time.
Like music,
and now it's recorded. That's amazing.
Yeah, but music has always been a constant medium through your soul, and I didn't think I took it seriously at a time, but now I really do take it seriously. I've been taking it seriously for over a year now, where I've done nothing but try my best to listen to. I'm not like fully like out of the secular industry. By no means am I in pure Christian music, but I am in pure enlightenment when I listen to music, because I listen to people who believe in God, and while they may not be particularly praising God in their song
because they're scared,
they're not. But as they may not be particularly doing it in that sense, it gives me a sense that they understand a little bit more than me, and I can see, as long as I know that they believe in God, I can really listen to their lyrics and kind of internalize that, because at the end of the day, that's that human trust I have, is where my favorite artist, Amak, he grew up in the church. He mentions God in his song. He doesn't.
He does?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
He doesn't really, stray far from the path. And that's what I really appreciate about him, because I don't have to sit there and be like, oh, he didn't mention God in this song. It's more of, I know that he believes in him, and I read his lyrics, and I'm like, I can internalize this because I know he does me no harm, because he has that belief in God. And he literally has that whole album where he's just like, I don't care if I don't make it or not. The point is not to make it. The point is to share my experiences with God. I don't have to specifically mention God in it, but I have to, my experiences with it, my experiences with life, and through his life, I can learn more about mine and about what I want to do, and stuff like that, because it's not. I'm not always going to sit there and be like, oh, the Bible, it has all my answers, but I'm not going to always be able to receive it. Some people have to have a medium of exchange through it. And, I think that's the most important thing for me, is being able to connect to the Bible in some way. And through that is music and philosophy. And that's through humans.
I just want to clarify what I was saying earlier about they're scared. I interpreted what you're saying as like, they don't speak God in their songs, yet they say they're for God. But we clearly know you cannot worship two gods, for money is whatever, the evil. You'll love one God, despise the other. So these people, obviously Amak isn't the biggest, but what my mindset is, like, you should just speak the truth, just straight up. Like, as long as he is open about who he really is and what really matters, that's cool. I just thought, my whole playlist now is nothing but Christian. It used to be really bad, But what music does for me is different for everybody, super subjective. What music does for me now is keep me focused on what's important. The reason I only have Jesus music on my playlist is because that helps me stay focused on the path of righteousness. If I go back to my old music, it will distract me from Jesus, and everyone is different, but that is just me. So the artists I listen to aren't scared of losing their money or fans over Jesus, for they have made their money and fans because of Jesus. That is the difference between an artist saying they love God and then not showing it or not talking about him in their music, and then whatever I'm listening to. But that's not, I'm not that important. I think God is more important.
Yeah, I think that's a clear statement. Like I said, for me, I want to be just like kind of like what Amok is for me, is that medium of exchange for people, because nowadays,
Hey, shout out your artist.
It's not. I mean, Amok is great, but like it's a personal thing. Not everyone's gonna like Amok.
Nah, say it.
Not everyone's gonna like Amok. Just like you
Okay.
You don't really like.
I'm gonna
Amok.
shout out my artist.
I'm not. I think Amok speaks for himself. He doesn't really need to be shouted out. I don't think
You should promote him if you really believe in him.
I believe in him full-heartedly, but like I said, that's the same thing for me. It's like I don't want to be sit here and be like, oh, go listen to Amok, go do this.
No.
Like
You don't have to say that. Just
people have to find him on his own. If they really want to, then they'll do it. Just by hearing me say it, like they'll go out and they'll go do it by themselves. If they really feel like, okay, I've been looking for someone like this who believes in God, but they're not screaming down my throat, go do this, go do that. They're saying, here are my experiences
exactly,
with it, and I'm gonna put this in song form where you can digest it, where you can believe what I'm saying is true because I believe in God. Just like the same way you have a preacher, and like that's like when preachers don't really hit for me unless it's something personal. Like they say all this other stuff about their personal life, I don't really get it. But when it's something personal with me, that unlocks something internally with me. But Amok does that on a lot more consistent basis. He helps me with questions that I have about stuff like that, and then he translates that over into the Bible because he gets all his answers from the Bible and puts that into the music, and then puts that into me. And that's where he's like my kind of medium exchange as well, because I struggle to sit there and just read because it's hard for me to understand sometimes. But it's a lot easier when there's someone who's already had that experience, and all my questions in life, and they put it into a music form where I can sit there and be like, I get it now. This is where I went wrong. This is what I should have answered with, especially in like certain aspect situations and nuances and all that other stuff. But like for me, that's what music is for me, and I think that's what music has always been.
Yeah, man.
Music has always been a link to your soul, and it's never been.
It messes with your soul. Either it cuts your soul up or it heals it. It either distracts you or keeps you focused on what's right. Now the problem with me is that my taste in music is hard rap. Like, and I know it's like, oh, you're old for saying it like that, but like I really like NWA and all this, like that one Brockhampton song, Heat. Like that is my vibe, man. But that's not godly. I can't listen to that. I need to listen to the truth to keep me focused. So I like just real quick, like I just want to say to all those people who like rap, like that's, in my opinion, that's my what's the word? The highest. It starts with a J. What is it? I'm gonna look up a thesaurus real quick. I really wanna get this right. Hold on. Let me look this up real quick. It's a synonym to best. Hold on. It is the pinnacle the pinnacle of music for me because rap just unlocks like all these ideas into a 2 minute song that no other genre can really do. And I really love music and rap, and to find artists like Avrex, Avrex, getting 20 views on his 2 gospel albums is just sad. We'd rather listen to people with no morals than people. These beats go equally as hard, yet he doesn't get the recognition like other people just because he preaches Jesus and entering the kingdom of heaven. But I don't know. That's just heartbreaking to me. Like, but that kind of genre of music is definitely for me, and I'm not over here listening to know Jesus is the one. Like, he is the one, but that music is just so corny. I do not like corny music. I need to listen to like real stuff. But that, all subjective. Music is completely subjective. Like, you just have to find your own way. But there's nothing wrong with liking whatever music you like, even if it's, what is it, Squirtcore? Have you heard that?
No.
It's like they sample Squidward on a song, and it's like a toilet flushing. Like, even if you like that, that is your personal subjective interest that you cannot control, and there is nothing wrong with it. It's just about what the message of the song is, and if you can't find music for you, then make your own. Like, that's so cool. We can just do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like what I've told you, like, over the course you've known me. It's like especially like more recently, like 6 months, 7 months. It's like I don't like the music now because of the message that's behind it.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I've told that to everyone that I know.
I've had to tune it out, but then when I started listening to Christian rap, I don't have to tune it out anymore, and I just let it take over. Like, I don't know how else to describe it, but I can like just
you can like finally like listen to it. And that's the thing, is like what I tell you is like what I've told you before is like, no matter what you do, you listen to the song. No matter how much you think you tune it out, it is a subconscious effect. Like you're subconsciously always gonna feel that music. You're subconsciously always gonna listen to the music, because I guarantee you, if I turn on the song, you'll know the lyrics if you listen to it enough times. I can never understate to someone, you cannot not listen to a song. No, unless it doesn't have any lyrics, you cannot not listen to a song. Whatever you listen to, you will subconsciously hear it.
Does your brain eat itself? What do you look up? Hold on, I'm trying to look up.
I don't look it up.
I'm trying to look up. Does your brain separate vocals from... Okay, it says music.
From instrumental.
Yeah, I want to say instrumental, but let's see. Brain uses left side for lyrics and right for melody.
So no. The melody is...
The melody is what I like.
Yeah.
I'm left-handed, so this makes sense for me. Because I can just shut down my left side. Not really, but like I can. But to just let it stay open for this Christian stuff is like really cool. But I'm left-handed, so obviously the right brain is more active for me, I guess, for lack of a better term. So that makes sense, because I really like the melody. Like, if you don't got the flow, I don't got the show. Like, that's how it is. No.
Yeah, I don't think I've done. I think I still have it here. Right here.
Don't change the tab. Yeah. Don't do that.
I have it here, and like, it's a paper on how much music has kind of deviated from, what it was originally was spiritual harmony, all this other things. Where it's
would you consider Beethoven spiritual harmony?
I believe that there are specific hertzes that are kind of
like yes or no.
So like I don't know about I think Beethoven has, some. I think any sound has a spiritual effect because it's even stated like there are sounds of the earth. Earth does make sounds, and there's cadence to it. There's hertz to it.
Yeah,
And
foxes make sounds.
Space makes sounds. There's hertz to it, and those specific hertz, 544 hertz, 434 hertz, 432 hertz. All these hertzes kind of tingle with your soul, and all of them do it in such a way where I think it's such a profound thing that I'm so concerned about the music that I listen to, because it's almost scary, because people, even like you, used to think like, oh, I'm so unaffected by it, but it really did affect you.
It distracted me. That's what it did.
It made you jumbled up. It made you like. That's what I try to tell you. It's like you listen to chaos, it creates chaos.
Oh, I wasn't worried about the chaos.
But it brought you chaos. It made you, distracted. Distraction is chaos.
Wait, that's a stretch. Hold on.
It's not because you see everyone's distracted. It causes chaos because no one's focused on the right thing. When you're not focused on the right thing, it causes chaos in your life when you're distracted.
And that's what
that's what I feel like.
I feel like there's a better word than chaos though. Like
it causes destruction in your life when you're distracted. When you're not focused on the right thing, you miss out on the right stuff. You miss out on everything you need because and it becomes destructive. Distraction is like an addiction. You're so comfortable being distracted that you'll never really see what you need to.
Like with our phones.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying in music, because you feel as if, the chaos, I'm it's fine. It's not gonna, make me do anything that I normally wouldn't do. It's just music. Like I can tune that part out. But like I use this example all the time. It's like when you were 12 years old, 10 years old, did you think you say the stuff that you say now? Do the stuff that you think you do now?
2 Timothy. No. When I send you 2 Timothy, something basically don't cuss because it'll just lead to ungodliness.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like all these people are like, no, I never really thought of like the stuff like that. And it's not. I'm not saying music is the only part, but I'm saying music is a big reason why, because you're creating this normality with it. It's normal.
You're inviting evil in your spirit.
You're inviting this kind of idea of like, oh, this is normal to listen to because everyone else is listening to it. It's fine. And I feel like that's such a message that's thrown down our throats. It's like, don't do what everyone else is doing. It's not good. But it's so hard not to, right? It's so hard not to listen to what everyone else is listening to. It's so hard not to do whatever. It's so hard not to party. It's so hard not to. For me, I'm never like, we've gone to like a little bit of parties, but it's not like
we've gone to.
But it's it's not something like we're so
and then
enjoyable.
The cops got called once, but we played tennis.
Yeah, we didn't really like go there to party. Like even when we did go, we were just like dancing.
Sitting.
We were like dancing and stuff. We were like going. We listen to music by ourselves. Like we're just doing a little too.
I'm really awkward at parties too. Like I'm really bad at parties.
But it was never like we were never there to indulge in anything that was there. We were just kind of
because the whole point for other people was to smoke and drink in an open place.
Yeah,
like without hiding it. But like, what if that mentality could be the same, but for Jesus? That is so much stronger than anything you could indulge in otherwise.
And that's my main point about music, is because people would rather, like cognitive dissonance. Like I've sent you that video before where I'm like, people do the wrong thing knowingly that it's wrong, but choose to do it. And that's why I have such short patience with. I'm empathetical, but like I don't have patience for people who knowingly do stuff wrong. Like if you knowingly smoke,
it's just bad for you.
Alcohol, and you do that, but you can't expect me to be empathetic about that.
I'm not addicted,
right? But
I'm not addicted.
I'm so good at like putting it in a way where you can know what I'm talking about, but you're not sitting here thinking I'm trying to insult you. And I think that's one of the main things. That's why people are not as Christian as they were before, because everyone's saying what you're doing is wrong and this is what's right. But they're not putting it in a way where, hey, I'm going to give this to you in a way where you can digest. And that's the same thing with music. Like, I think like now that you like kind of understand what I'm saying, like it's
Well,
not
just
so,
in my way. Like,
yeah,
I don't know what you get out of music, but I know what I do.
but you know what I'm saying? Like it, what I said to you on the phone, we had a conversation. It was like, it's not about, I'm not saying there's no way that music doesn't affect you. There's no way in any shape or form that music doesn't affect you, because it showed like the music you listen to, it brought you chaos, it brought you distraction, because distraction is the bringer of chaos. It distracts you from what is right. And that was my main point of like, no matter what you listen to, the brain is what it listens to. Your ideas are never your own. You'll never have an original idea. You'll never have an original idea, because your moral beliefs are given to you by God.
And you're not an original being.
Yeah, and
you're just
also,
not.
And are also influenced by your parents. What you get is from what your God and from your parents.
And there's nothing wrong with it.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But you have to know that the human brain absorbs everything. Everything is absorbed by the human brain. It looks, everything your eyes see, the human brain takes in. So you have to be aware.
Okay, now you're just quoting the Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
I didn't watch that, so I don't know.
That was the whole thing.
I didn't even watch that, so I don't know. But like, that's so true though, because I can recall you can recall the most random memories, right? The memories that you wouldn't think you wouldn't even remember, but you do. That's because the human brain takes everything in.
So weird.
You can't say it doesn't affect you, because it takes everything into consideration. Yes, it may, remove some memories, remove some things, but that's going to happen over time. But at the end of the day, it's going to be affected by it in some way, shape, or form. So I try to tell people this all the time. Don't think you're unaffected. Don't think you're immune to anything, because it can get to you. Anything and everything can get to you. Satan can get to you. God can get to you.
Oh, yeah, the same way God's all around us, Satan's even more all around us. Like, even though they're outnumbered, they are doing everything in their power to get in our heads. And it's actually, what's the word? Like, I feel honored how much pushback against me there is. There is a whole agnostic room in Pandemonium that is just like, how do we get this guy to turn away from God? And it's just kind of funny thinking about it that way. It's like, that's it. I feel honored that these people are really like the real opposition. Like, they're really trying to get to me, and I'm just enduring. Like, that's what this whole world is. It's a test in endurance. Like, how much like self-growth will you give yourself before you die? Because everyone can agree self-growth is good, but do they really do it? Like, y'all gotta see the fruits they bear, because honestly, it's so frustrating. See these people like, oh yeah, I'm better than I was yesterday. And then like, there's just obvious fixes that they could give themselves, and they just don't do it. Addiction is the big one that we're getting into right now. Like, y'all gotta have some self-control. Like, that's just a basic concept for your soul. Like, you gotta have some sort of like endurance. Like you gotta be noble against what the world's gonna throw at you. You can say you're not addicted to something and then get cognitive dissonance, but like, it's so powerful to know that you're strong enough to get past something that's really getting to you. And I know something that I say a lot, like, okay, I'm gonna say it, and I don't really know the target demographic for this. The target demographic is to be rated. Because this is something like even 10-year-olds are getting into as well. Like, straight up, porn will make you addicted to it. And you can say, oh, I didn't do it this week. I'm fine. I'm all good. But like, dude, that's just an immediate fix. We all know you don't need to be religious at all to know deep down inside. I don't care how many crevices your brain has, how smooth your brain is. You can be so belligerent with your life, and deep down inside you will know at the very least porn is bad, and that is the easiest self-growth action removal you can give to yourself. I didn't even mean to talk about it. It just got brought up in my head. It just literally oh yeah, this is an addiction that we haven't talked about yet. It is the easiest thing to change. And yet everyone's like, I'm better than I was yesterday. And then they still do it. You can't even get over yourself, dude. Oh my gosh.
I think that's where empathy comes
I'm ranting.
Empathy comes into that because I feel like with one of our friends,
he's not even trying though.
But just the fact that you can understand where he comes from. I can definitely understand where he comes from, but it's I think the mindset of I'm better than I was yesterday is a great mindset to have if used properly. And I think that's...
But you got to keep yourself humble.
It's the thing of I'm better than I was yesterday and I'm going to continue to be better.
Oh,
that's
you reminded me.
That's the thing. It's you want to be better than you were yesterday. And that's my goal every day, is to be better than I was yesterday. But I know tomorrow's not guaranteed, so I'm going to be the best I can.
Today, yeah.
And then tomorrow...
You might not wake up.
But if I have tomorrow...
You might get nuked.
If I have tomorrow, then I will be better than I was the day before. And that's the thing. It's you have to have that mindset. And I think if you're saying I'm better than I was yesterday, more props to you. And I think that's the problem, because everyone's so focused on themselves, no one gives props to that kind of testimony.
To other people.
Because I feel one thing when I was struggling with that was I didn't really have that kind of props of, okay, you're a month out and you're doing good. Keep it up, because it's hard when you see people with drugs, you see people with that kind of stuff where it's they don't get that kind of praise where it makes them feel good for removing themselves of the situation. So when they get back into it, they're well, it's comfortable because when they get back, oh, it's all wrong. But when I'm doing good, no one says anything about it. And I think that's the main problem, because people are so ridicule oriented about it, instead of saying, hey, you've done this for this long. Here's your props for it. Now continue to do that.
Yeah. When it comes to starting anything, hobby, habit, you start off small and then work your way up. So what I was saying earlier is sort of I didn't do it today, I'm good. For me, it's just second nature. Just don't do it ever. But I have to remember, I'm not perfect. I have to remember there's people out there who've been doing this for years, and they need to find an outing. And it's always a slope with humans. We are circular beings. We move our arms in circles. Our life, our happiness goes from up to down. We are going in cycles. Our DNA is a spiral. Our planet is going in a spiral. You may not, in your science class, your chart is going to show the planet as a circle. But in real life, when you look at what our solar system really looks like, it's a spiral. So we are constantly moving forward and going in a circle. And that's just us. That's just what humans are. So you have to understand, you start off small, on the top of your graph, your whatever addiction graph, and then you work your way down. Start with a day, a week, a month in, and then whatever you need. So, that's just, it doesn't have to be addiction. You could be starting from the bottom and working your way up to a skill. I know when I started mixing music, I just started off making tiny little edits to songs that already exist that I feel would have been a better addition to them. And then I went up to that. I started, splicing, putting two songs that aren't related together, and it actually came out really good. It sounds dumb, like, okay, an 8-minute long song. No, I was learning. And then it was, now I make my own music. I don't post anything yet, especially now since the music I used to make was really bad. But now that I'm, born again, I'm going to make holy music that, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll just put it in timeout forever. But like, I'm reevaluating what I find important. But like, yeah, I'm putting God first. My life is great. I'm not burnt out. I feel just so enlightened and like just better than I ever was. And I just want to give this feeling to other people. Like, I just want y'all to feel how I'm feeling, because it is just truly more like euphoric than like anything could ever give me.
I mean, yeah, I think that feeling is, it lasts a lifetime. And I think that's the best part about it is,
people slip off for sure.
People slip off, but I mean, if you stay on, that feeling will last a lifetime. So I think it's about everyone finding that feeling.
Yeah,
and it's about everyone attempting to find that feeling. I can't
actually try.
I can't. I'll never fault someone for trying.
Look,
I'll never fault someone for trying. If they fall off, so what? But how many people try? How many people put in the effort?
And then there's people who are like, "Dear God, give me a jet. And if you don't, I don't believe in you. Ha, I win." And he doesn't, because that's not how it works. You need, first with Christianity, you need to put the Holy Spirit in you. And then your gifts that God has given you. You have two, okay. Everyone is powerful spiritually, but each power spiritually, it's like My Hero Academia is different. Like straight up is My Hero Academia with the spiritual stuff. And everyone has their own gifts physically and, mentally, spiritually. So in order to enhance those gifts God has given you, you have to first put the Holy Spirit inside of you, which is when you give your life up to Christ, he puts that in you. And at least for me, it is helping me lead my life into a much better place. So that will enhance your gifts, and nothing else will do that for you. Like, I forgot what I started off with, but I forgot I had a point, and then I just started talking.
Yeah, like he said. I mean,
episode 1.
Yeah.
Hey, you might get clips from time to time. Hey, we're working it out. We had to cut some stuff. We might do it in the future too, but don't mean nothing. You didn't miss anything.
It's like 2 episodes in this one.
Like
a mini episode.
I think this should be a 2-hour podcast. I like 2-hour podcasts. That's really good for me. We're pretty much
splitting it up into topics though. Like we mainly focus on Christianity this topic.
Hey, that's pretty good.
And then for the next
I'll do it again too.
I know, but for the next one, I think the overarching
we could focus on history. Nah, we'll figure it out. We'll play it how we feel, because we can't force anything. We just flow. Right. Oh yeah, we're good. My phone's at 25%, dude.
My charger's over there if you need.
Oh, thanks.
Yep.
Okay. Hold on. What time is it on there? 90?
So I mean, yeah, that would be the first episode, and if
I think we ended it off well.
If you hear this,
What's that? Hour 30 minutes? Yeah. I'll take it. We're done. Whoops.
If you hear this, have yourself a nice day. Stay blessed.
When should we post this? We need to edit it, but
tomorrow.
Okay.
I guess I don't care. Whenever you are ready. Yeah.
Well, I've been ready. This is it.
Hopefully you guys enjoy it, and I'll catch you next time.